wait for it to start. Okay. More on quadratic equations. Okay? So what you're going to be using to figure out, you're going to use the discriminant, which I'm going to explain what it is in a minute. We're going to be using the discriminant to tell you if you'll end up with one answer, two answers, or two, like when you solve with the quadratic equation, how it has square roots left in it, whether it would be two of them that are like not real with the square root type answers. Are you ready, guys? Okay. Okay, the discriminant is actually the radicand, which means the part under the radical, square root, in the quadratic formula. So remember your quadratic formula? The radicand is the part under here, that's your discriminant. The b squared minus 4ac is your discriminant. And that will determine how many solutions and what type of solutions will be obtained. Okay? So, if your discriminant, that part right there, when you figure that part out, which you need the A, B, and C for that, when you figure that out, if it comes up to 0, you're going to have one solution, which the one solution gives you one x-intercept. Okay, if that's 0, because you're adding and subtracting 0 to that. So you have that over that as your answer, right? So if that's 0, you have one answer. Because you don't have a plus something and a minus something. It's plus 0, minus 0. Okay, if it's a positive number, that means that you could have factored it and got two answers. Two different real number answers, because you'll be adding a number and then subtracting a number and then dividing by whatever's here. So you have two different real number solutions if it's positive, and you'll have two x-intercepts. Okay? If it's negative, you'll have two different non-real, the complex number solutions, and there won't be an x-intercept. Okay, let me show you kind of what those will look like. Okay, if it's 0, it will look kind of like it'll touch the x, and there'll just be one x-intercept. So if it's 0, it'll look something like that. It could be here, 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 here. But it'll touch the x in one spot if the discriminant is 0. If the discriminant is positive, that means you're going to have something that goes like that. You'll have two x-intercepts. So if it's positive, you'll have those two. Your two answers will be your x-intercepts. If it's negative, that means you have like a square root of negative something where it's I, which we didn't cover the I yet. If it's negative, you're going to have something that looks more like, it'll be over here. It won't even cross the X. Okay? Now let's do some discriminants and figure out how many answers there are. This is what we're using right there. So, if we have the problem x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 0, how many and what kind of solutions will you get? Okay, what is your A? 1. Where's your B? And C?
16.
Okay, we're only doing the discriminant part, not the whole quadratic formula. We don't want the answers, we want the nature of the answers. That's what we're using only, that part. So we have B squared minus 4AC. A is 1, C is 16. What is negative 8 squared?
64.
64. 4 times 16? 64. So if it's 0, how many, are they real or non-real?
Real,
One real number solution. You don't have to know about the x-intercept. So one real solution. Okay, we get a different color. X squared plus 1 equals 0. Okay. Is there an x term? You see an x? There's no x, there's an x squared. So that's like saying x squared and 0x and 1, right? So the A, the B, and the C. Okay, so we have B squared minus 4AC. B squared, that's 0. 4AC. So we have 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Not 4, negative 4. If it's negative, what does its answers look like? Two different non-real. So we have two non-real solutions. Okay. Let's do 9t squared minus 3t equals 0. What's our A?
1.
In front of the squared, 9. B and C. Right, that's like plus 0 here. So we have B squared minus 4AC. B is negative 3. And we have A and C is 0. So we have negative 3 squared is 9. 0. So it's a positive number. What kind of answers you get when it's positive?
two different real numbers.
Two real numbers.
And 2 intercepts.
Yeah. But it just wanted to know the solutions, so we don't have to know the intercepts. Yeah. Okay, so do we need to keep doing those, or is that pretty much? Got it? As long as you wrote all these down, you'll know. It's the red part of it, the type of solution. Okay, let's do, okay. Write a quadratic equation having a given number as solutions. So if you have this and this as solutions, okay? Let me look at it real quick, sorry. Huh? Anyway, this is going to come from the quadratic formula, right? Okay. So we're going to have negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And that's going to be positive and negative 4. to write this down before I started, sorry. Absolutely, okay. Okay, instead of doing the quadratic, let's get rid of that, that's actually harder, sorry. Okay, so if you have these answers, that's like this one, remember when you FOILed it and then you say, oh, this gives us this answer? Like when you have this and this equals 0?
Yeah.
This we would have got from x plus 4, right? Remember that gives you an answer of -4? This gives you
-4.
the x minus 4. So if you want the quadratic equation, just FOIL it. That's pretty simple. Now I was going to go the hard way. Okay, so FOIL it, we have x squared plus 4x minus 4x. We don't have plus anything. Then we have the last times the last is minus 16. So actually these two answers will come from x squared minus 16 equals 0. Okay, let's do it with a couple other things. Let's do it with one that has a fraction. What if you have the answers 3 and -2/5?
Would be x minus 3, x plus 2/5.
This one's going to be a little harder to figure out. It's going to have something in front of the x. The 5, because actually when we do this, it has to equal -2/5. So let's say if x equals -2/5, how are we going to do that? Let's do it backwards from, like when we had this, equals 0, remember how you did the plus or minus first? And then you divided? Let's do the opposite of the dividing first. Multiply by 5 on both sides. That gives you 5x equals -2. We want it to equal 0.
Plus 2.
Plus 2. So 5x plus 2 equals 0. See, this way we would have subtracted 2 and then divided by 5 and you would have got that. So you start with x equals that and get it where it equals 0, and that will be your other factor. The fraction one's a little harder. Let's do another fraction one. Let's do 2 fraction ones, how's that? Let's do what if it was 3/4 and a -4/5. Oh, you know what? I didn't FOIL that. That's not a quadratic equation yet. That's not hard to do, but we should have finished it. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. 5x squared plus 2x minus 15x. So that comes out to -13x. And then last times last,
6, -6.
minus 6. So that's actually the quadratic equation that would have those 2 answers. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to have enough room to do all that. Okay, let's do it on another sheet. 3/4 and -4/5. Okay, x equals 3/4. We want it equal to 0. First, we're going to multiply by 4, right? minus 3. Okay? That's one of our factors. So what are you going to do first here?
Times 5.
Times 5.
4.
Add 4. So we have 5x plus 4. So if it's negative, this is a plus. If it's positive, you're going to have a minus in there. We're almost done. Quadratic equation, we need to multiply that out. 20x squared
1x minus 12.
16x minus 15x, right. Plus 1x, last to the last is minus 12. So here's the quadratic equation that would give you these two answers. I don't know if we need to do the I ones because we didn't do the I section. Yeah, okay, the I ones aren't being, they won't be, what do you call it?
On the final?
They won't be on your homework. I can show you how to do the I ones, but they haven't even seen I yet. You know what I is, but they're gonna be like, what? So I'm not gonna cover the I ones. Here's one weird, C over D and D over 2. Let's do that one. The answer is C over D and D over 2. Okay, solving for 0, right? First thing you're going to do is multiply by d. So we have dx equals c minus c. So dx minus c is your first factor. X equals d over 2. First thing you're going to do is what?
Multiply by 2.
Times 2. So you have 2x equals d
Minus d.
minus d. So 2x minus d. Boil it. 2dx squared minus xd squared, or d squared x, whichever order you want to put it in, minus 2cx, I guess I should put the d first, I don't know, and then plus cd. And we don't have like terms, so that did C plus D, okay. What they did is they factored the x out of this one, so it'd be x squared and the x and no x. So if we factored the x out of this, what would we have? D squared, or negative d squared?
Yeah, D squared minus 2c.
Yeah. Almost looks what they did. There's no 2 there, huh? How weird. I'll tell you what they got. Oh, I put C over D. They had C over 2 and D over 2. So it's totally different. Okay. Anyway, we have 2dx squared minus this, actually it'd be plus the negatives or something. If we put minus, it would be positives, right? Plus CD. So let's do it with the minus there. 4 minus, these will turn positive. Right? Did that lose anybody? Put the minus here, change both of these signs. You may have one of those. If you get everything else right and you don't get that one, you'll still be able to do the next thing, right? Let's do another one with letters. And then we'll do one with square roots. K over 3 and then over 4. This one, I'm going to make sure I have it exactly like the book, so we'll know what the answer should look like. Okay. So x equals k over 3. How do we solve that?
Times 3.
Times 3. And then what?
Minus K.
Okay, and then this one, x equals m over 4. What do we do first?
Times 4.
Times 4. 4x equals m, and then
Minus M.
minus m. So we have 4x minus m. Okay, let's FOIL it. 12x squared minus 3xm or mx, it don't matter, minus 4
KX.
xk or kx, either way, and then plus km or mk, it don't matter. Kind of normal is put them in alphabetical order, but whatever. Okay, so these we could factor the x out. If we factored the x out, we would have, let's put the minus here so that that could be a positive. This will be a 3 and an m, right? Don't we need an m?
Yes.
See, that gives us 3xm, negative 3xm. Now if we put plus here, that'll still be negative 4, right?
Okay.
And negative 4, negative. What else do we need here?
K.
Right, okay. Okay, so this is 12x squared minus this x plus km equals 0. And they just have the middle terms in a different order because they didn't do outside inside. They did inside outside. See, they just have these two in a different order, but we did outside inside because we FOILed. They just had those turned around. Same answer though. Let's do it with square roots. Then we'll take the break. Okay, square root, negative square root of 3 and 2 square root of 3. So x equals negative square root of 3. How do we solve that for 0? Square it. x squared equals positive 3,
Yeah. Or no, negative 3.
or negative times negative.
Oh, yeah.
And then subtract 3.
Subtract 3.
Equals 0.
Okay, this one. Square.
Divide by 2.
Yeah, we don't want to divide by 2, let's leave it, we'll square it. X squared looks better down here than x over 2. If they add a plus or minus, would do that first. This is squared and this is squared, so 2 squared is 4. Square root of 3 squared is what? 3.
So x squared.
So x squared is 12
X squared minus 12.
minus 12. So x squared times x squared,
X to the 4th.
well, that's weird. This isn't coming out. Take a break and then I'll show you this one right, because it ain't coming out right. It's not coming out with an x to the 4th on it, so let me check it out after your break, I'll show you. That'll be the beginning of the next section, lesson. Because it's supposed to come out x squared minus square root of 3x minus 6 equals 0. So I'll show you how to get the right answer when you come back.